to Architecting. I'm your host, Angela Mozzi. You made it. This is the landing pad for raw honesty about connecting your career with your purpose. I'm going to give you the tools you need to be an unapologetic advocate for yourself and others, because if you're here, you believe that the space we surround ourselves in matters, and you're committed to project by project building a better world for all of us. If you're with me, let's get architecting. Hey, Bright Lights, it's Angela. I am so excited to let you know about the very newest class that I am putting out there into the world, and you are really going to love it. It is called Leadership for Introverts. Most architects, most creative people identify as introverts. However, in the modern world, everything is structured for an extroverted persona. If you've ever studied the difference between introverts and extroverts, you know introverts are not antisocial or shy. It's just that we don't get our energy out of having interactions. We kind of work ourselves up to it. We're very, very self-aware the whole time, which means we're not really at ease. You can show up in a way you don't mean to. You can appear defensive or rigid in your thinking, or you can feel easily hurt. Like, how many of you have had the experience where you just didn't feel seen or heard, or like your input had value? Sad thing is, we're sabotaging ourselves. Well, I got you covered as a fellow introvert who has dealt with and still does deal with all of these issues. And this is why I'm going to share with you my proven techniques to thrive as an introvert and a leader. And really excited about the format of this class. I've broken it down into bite-sized chunks of 15 minutes or so that you can listen to, be like, got it, work that skill set, come back for more. And then we will have a few live sessions where you can ask me questions, we can interact. You really can work it into your routine and get the most benefit possible. So we'll officially start the course in January, and it's going to be so exciting because even though you're going to go at your own pace, I'm going to be giving you prompts and we're going to be going through this together. This is going to be transformative and such an important thing for us as introverts to really show up the way that we want to in the world. You know that stressless success is a big issue for me. I teach a whole 8-week course on stressless success. Stress over fear of how we're showing up or not showing up and being uncomfortable is the biggest way we hurt ourselves as introverts. If you've caught yourself doing things like overperforming and trying to prove yourself, or seeking validation and always looking for the next credential or other way to prove to other people that you have a right to be in the room or be the expert. Or maybe you've just shut down and you just feel hurt, so you withdraw and decide you don't care and you stop engaging. Or you are so in your head about how you're showing up that you're not situationally aware and you're not picking up on cues from other people. So your interactions with them, especially people you don't know well, don't feel genuine. You can stand up in front of a room full of people and deliver a speech, but the one-on-one interactions feel really tough. If you can identify with any of that, this course is for you. As you could tell, I am super pumped, and as we're going into the holiday season, my gift to all of you right now is that you can get this class for just $40. Don't wait. Go to architectingpodcast.com. You can sign up right from the front page. You can learn more about exactly what I'm teaching. Trust me, if you are an introvert, you are going to get so much super valuable information you want in this class. And if you're going to do it anyway, don't pay more. I'm only offering the special price for a short time, and then it's going to go up when we put the course officially on sale. So you're getting the insider pre-sale price if you go to Architecting Podcast right now. Go do this. Give yourself the biggest present ever this year and really move into 2024 as your best self. I can't wait to see you in the class. This leads us right into today's topic, which is experience versus expertise. And I got to tell you, I've been bumping into this a lot in my own life. You all know that I'm a more seasoned professional, probably toward the end of the mid-career point. I have racked up a lot of expertise, have really established my career in a lot of ways. And you could say this is the point that you work your whole life to get to, where you are a firm partner, where you've held significant leadership positions, where you've been around the block and you've done things and you've made a name for yourself. And yet, I've had several experiences lately where I've wanted to participate in something and found that the people making decisions were like, we're going to go with the novice. We want the person who is early career. We want the person who doesn't have all of this expertise. But what they do have is a really unique life experience that we think is going to bring a diverse perspective. I'm not gonna lie, at first it kind of hurt and felt like a slap in the face. People who knew I was going after this were just as shocked as I was. Like, if you can't get in, who are they picking? Must be like amazing people who are like in orbit somewhere because they're so much better than the rest of us. No, it's actually the opposite. If you've been listening to the last couple of episodes where I interviewed the amazing editors of the Out in Architecture book, you'll hear them talk a lot about inclusion and about how important it is to keep asking who's missing and get different voices at the table. And this is an incredible seismic shift in our world. We're starting to become more aware that the way we've always done it may not be the best way, may have made a lot of assumptions about there being a quote unquote right way or a blind following of process and procedure to the detriment of fresh thinking. This is all a really good thing. It's a valuing of experience and what people have lived and the perspective they bring, which does matter and is so important. It's a questioning of the status quo, which, if we're going to be in a state of growth, not stagnation, we need to do on the regular. But what can get missed in this is an assumption that if you've got more seasoning, if you've got more experience, you must be rigid in your thinking and fixed in your perspective and caught up in what is sometimes referred to as the liability of expertise, where you've been at this so long, you think you know the answers, where you've invented a system and you're not really interested in tinkering with it or considering a new system. And I don't feel that way. I think both experience and expertise matters, but I want to break down how they work together. So as I said, experience is everything that has happened to you, and nobody else is going to have your lived experience. So it's important to draw from that, to share that, to really use that as your differentiator. Expertise is different. Expertise is what you know, what skills you have. And because you have these skills and you have this knowledge and you've been out there applying them, you've been able to create a toolbox, if you will. You have the ability to adapt and discern and customize an approach. You have a lot of different tools. So if something doesn't work, you have the ability to course correct and not just course correct randomly, but course correct in a very targeted way that is hopefully going to get to a better solution quicker. You also have seen things play out so that when things start to go in a direction, you can raise your hand and say, if we do this, these are some of the things I've seen happen, good and bad, in going in a direction like this. Let's think about those things as we begin to develop this solution. The trick with expertise, and I think everyone falls into this trap, is that you can stop approaching things with curiosity. You can get caught in a trap of trying to say, how similar is the problem in front of me to another problem I've faced before? And try to fit the current problem into the solution mold that you applied before and fail to appreciate some of the unique aspects, which is why as an expert, you still need to cultivate a beginner's mind. You still need to make sure that you are approaching a situation with fresh eyes. You need to think about what you might be missing. You need to ask more questions, involve more people, get more input before you make a decision. It comes down to the difference between inductive and deductive reasoning. So inductive reasoning gathers information. Deductive begins to distill information and eliminate what doesn't belong to arrive at a solution. The beginner's mind is all about inductive, pulling things in, learning, being excited, seeing feedback as a chance to grow. The liability of expertise is feeling threatened by feedback because you've attained and established yourself at a certain level, and you don't want people to threaten that. You don't want to be taken off that pedestal. The challenge before us in our modern world, where we are consciously wanting to bring more people to the table, is not to assume that just because we have not heard from someone before, or just because somebody has the beginner's mind, that they have all the answers. We need to recognize that we need to meld both experience and expertise. So my challenge to people who are earlier on in their career, who want to be seen and heard and impactful, is what can you learn? Who are your mentors? Where can you align yourself to learn what you don't know and not spend a lot of time making costly mistakes or reinventing the wheel, but rather climb on the shoulders of those giants and leverage what they know and what they can do to help yourself propel further? For those of you who are experts, how can you be more vulnerable? How can you be more authentic and pull more of your own life experience, not just knowledge and skills, into a situation? How can you create more psychological safety for others so that you're really hearing all the information? How can you make sure you are building in a fact gathering and a questioning phase into everything you do, instead of assuming you know the answer or trying to take shortcuts? There's value to fresh thinking. There is value in wisdom. This is my call to action to all of you. Look at yourself and look at where you may be a little bit stuck, either in assuming that experts have run their course and have nothing to contribute, or in dismissing fresh thinking because you think it won't work or it feels unfamiliar. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this idea of experience versus expertise, where you think you are in the spectrum, where you've caught yourself either being too brazen as a beginner and making a lot of costly mistakes, or having that liability of expertise and thinking you know without taking the time to gather more information, convene more people, or ask better questions. how can we start to think about a practice model that uses both the beginner's mind and the wisdom of the expert to really get the best solutions out there? You can share with me on Instagram. I'm at Architecting Podcast. You can also share on LinkedIn. I'm there at Angela Mazzi, or you can share to our architecting page on LinkedIn. And as always, you can drop me an email, angela@architectingpodcast.com. I love hearing from you. If you love what you're hearing on this podcast, if this is super valuable information, it helps me so much when you like, rate, and review this on Apple Podcasts, when you tell your friends about it, when you share links to the episodes. I have one about conference experiences that is a sleeper episode. At the time it came out, it did okay. But somebody's got a link out there somewhere. I will notice it goes through periods where it gets a whole bunch of listens, even though it's a 2-year-old episode. So people really do love it when you share. You're putting that resource out for people, and they're going to find it when it is the right time for them. I really appreciate, as part of this community, when you help to share the information with the people that you know or out to your broader network. I love you all. Thanks so much. Have a great day, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you for listening. You made it all the way to the end of the episode, which means you are committed to making yourself a priority so you can be empowered to do the work you were called to do in the world. How amazing is that? If you would like even more content just like this, please remember to subscribe so you never miss an episode. I would so appreciate it if you left an honest review too. Hey, I want you to know I'm here for you beyond the boundaries of this podcast. You can follow me on social media at Architecting Podcast, or visit architectingpodcast.com to download some great free resources. Take care, everyone, and stay inspired.